Secretary of State under Bill Clinton was the first to say, these guys are out of control. Let's fold them into the State Department. Al Gore was going to do it, but he got massive pushback from USAID, and they said, okay, we'll fold.
This report tells us how to cut waste, cut red tape, streamline the bureaucracy, change procurement rules, change the personnel rules, and create a government that works better and costs less.
The Reinventing Government, or RIGO, report aims to save $108 billion over 5 years through eliminating scores of wasteful programs and regulations. Among the 800 recommendations, eliminating 12% of the federal workforce, merging some government agencies like the FBI, the DEA, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, closing hundreds of government offices outside Washington.
Before DOGE, there was Bill Clinton. He cut 400,000 federal jobs. And Al Gore was the executioner. It wasn't just Clinton and Gore. The Messiah said he was on a mission to trim.
From the day I took office, one of the commitments that I made to the American people was that we would do a better job here in Washington in rooting out wasteful spending. Now, this does mean making some tough choices. It means cutting some programs that I think are worthy, but we may not be able to afford right now. We haven't seen as much action out of Congress as we'd like, and that's why we launched on our own initiative the campaign to cut waste.
The same people that say we need radical change.
Right.
We need radical change. We've got corruption. We need radical change. Okay, well, here's your radical change. We don't need this, but
Right.
you do.
Yeah.
The government does. They need oversight,
Yeah,
and
of
they
course.
haven't had that. And because of that, you're seeing this. Not just waste. You could call it waste, but it's deeper. It's deeper than
Yeah.
waste. It's corruption, and you're seeing that corruption get weeded out.
If there was an argument to be made of some program internationally that you want to fight for, you could just go to the president of the White House and say, can we at least just keep this program? But that's not the argument that they're making. They want to keep all of the programs from the USA, even though it's fraud, waste, and abuse going on, in place. And I just don't think this is, of course they're not going to win against the Republicans, but they're not going to win with the American people. They're not going to have all these Americans calling and protesting to keep programs from foreign governments.
Yeah, you're going to have progressive people that want to keep all of those programs, that
All
whole
of
scroll of list. But the common sense, middle of the road, Democrat or Republican is going to say, and all the Republican Party is going to say, stop wasting our money. We're in debt. We're giving money to these programs that we don't agree with to other countries. They don't need these programs. Some of them, yes, maybe. And there's an argument for that. If it's feeding children or if it's preventing HIV from a child from getting HIV and they're allowing to send that drug over or the malaria drug, I get it. But these programs, I mean, it's so much waste. And the Democrats, what are they scared of? Are they scared to save money? Are they scared that we'll pull back the curtain and actually see how progressive these Democrats really are? They don't want this done, and it just baffles most Americans.
And when I look at all the crises in America that we're currently experiencing, we can go all the way back to Ohio, East Palestine. Were there protests advocating for those people? Have there been protests in Los Angeles for the rebuild? North Carolina, have we seen people assemble to give those folks the funds that they need? They have not. And I think it's a slap in the face of the American people. And one viewer came on the Martha show yesterday, and I'm not saying this is true, but the viewer said, are they getting money? Like, why are they so passionate? For the average day American at home, this is an independent voter. She's like, why are they like this? Are they getting kickbacks or something? They're so passionate about this money.
Who are you?
You're not coming in.
Who are you? And what do you do here?
What do you do
I have
here?
a security responsibility.
Get out of the way. We pay for your job. So what are you going to do? You going to beat us up if we go in?
I mean, you're going to,
we want you to move
We're not dangerous people. There are no thieves and thugs out here. We're members of Congress.
They allow billionaires and his minions to come in.
And the kids deserve to have us go in and fight for them.
This is appalling.
The children of this country deserve that battle.
This is a public institution. This is not Russia.
He said he's a federal employee. We pay him. We raise money to make sure that we have a Department of Education. He's standing here today blocking the door, and he can't give us a good reason why he's blocking this door. Do they have guns on them? Do
We
they
don't
have
have any
guns?
weapons.
Are they prepared to shoot us?
Does this remind you of the other people who have blocked the schoolhouse doors before?
Yes. Yes.
Boy, this is a flashback.
And this is going to go out in history. The man who blocked the doors of the Department of... Hold your face up so they can see you. Give me that ID again.
I've given you the ID. I showed it to you.
So what?
I showed you the ID.
You do what?
I showed you the ID.
Could you let me see the ID again?
I'm surprised the Democrats knew where to find the Department of Education because test scores have been dropping for years, and this was the first time they showed up at the Department of Education to stop an audit. And Maxine's asking someone for ID, so racist. Here's the president.
I see Maxine Waters, a lowlife. I see, all these people. They don't love our country. They don't love our country. We want great education. So they rank 40 countries in education. We're ranked dead last. But the good news is we're number one in one category. You know what that is? Costs per pupil.
The more money we spend on education, the more test scores drop. Teachers' unions are doing all right. Not so much the students.
I told Linda, I hope you do a great job and put yourself out of a job. I believe strongly in school choice, but in addition to that, I want the states to run schools. It's absolutely obscene, dangerous, bad, very costly. I mean, virtually every investment made is a con job. There's nothing of value to anybody unless there's a kickback scheme going on, which is possible. And we're going to be doing more and more of that. We're going to be looking at Department of Education. We're going to be looking at even our military.
And we heard the fraudsters squeal. But some of these departments are going to cooperate, like the Pentagon, which has failed 7 audits in a row.
We are going to focus heavily to ensure that at a bare minimum, by the end of 4 years, the Pentagon passes a clean audit. The American taxpayers deserve that. They deserve to know where their $850 billion go, how it's spent, and make sure it's spent wisely. It used to be that if you called for an audit, somehow you were undermining the department. I believe the exact opposite. I believe we are accountable for every dollar we spend, and every dollar of waste we find or redundancy is a dollar we can invest somewhere else.
The EPA is also getting put on Ozempic. 100 environmental justice workers getting pink slips. At USAID, headquarters is getting a makeover. The agency went from 10,000 headcount to 300. But the most criminal element to this foreign aid scheme is that the math shows it's one big kickback racket. This here is in the Wall Street Journal. Quote, some dollars do reach intended recipients around the world, but plenty of the funding goes to local affiliates of those same USAID subcontractors. By most assessments, less than 10% of U.S. non-military foreign aid ends up with locally based organizations. 9 out of 10 USAID dollars ends up in the hands of crooked contractors. USAID was a taxpayer-funded charity scam, as well as a regime change bank. If a charity operated the way USAID does, but only 10% of the money went to feed the kids or save the whales, the executives would get arrested. The charity would get shut down and everyone would be charged with fraud. On November 5th, America rejected regime change wars, DEI, trans surgeries, and the Green New Scam. But the Democrats are still not listening to the American people. USA Today says perhaps liberals should take a step back and think hard about what they're protesting. They aren't just in your face about Trump and Musk. They're also fighting the 77.3 million Americans who rejected what the Democrats were selling.
If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date with future videos. Thank you for watching.